So I've been thinking about what's the title of this video. I thought of doing a do not buy, I thought of doing a video is it worth buying, but I've ended up with the title that Forspoken looks like complete trash. Now I want to put a disclaimer out there before we get into this. Number one, I haven't actually played this myself, that's why it says in the title that it looks like complete trash. Number two, I'm not just going to leave it here and put out my opinion saying it looks bad, then not give the game a chance. I will be picking up Forspoken, I will be trying the game, but I honestly don't think it's worth the money they're asking for. We'll go through all of that in the video, and another thing is, it's not all negative. I'm not trying to be negative with this. I'm actually looking forward to this game. But what I've been doing is quite an extensive bit of research. I've been looking at multiple videos. I've watched loads and loads of videos because on the PlayStation there was a demo for this game, so people got hands-on. But not only that, there was an event where people got to try the game, and channels like RX Gaming got to play it for 5 hours. And there's been a lot to say from the community. Not all bad, but mostly bad. So jumping into this one, from what I've seen, the lock-on system is rough around the edges. Sometimes on the PlayStation, it will remove the lock-on, and it will make you reactivate it, and apparently the controls on PlayStation are a little bit clunky. Another one, and this is quite a big one for me personally, and I think a lot of you are going to struggle with this one as well, you cannot look straight up into the air. And there's quite a few flying enemies in the game. So that's going to become frustrating very quickly because if the enemies are above you, you can't attack them. And then based on the demo, the main character on the game isn't interesting. A lot of people haven't had any interest or connection to the character whatsoever, and all she does is moans about everything and talks to herself when you're in combat, and I've heard there is a lot of talking to the point where people are begging that she shuts up. And then moving into the combat side of things, the combat seems decent. It actually seems as though using the magic and stuff is fun. But you do have to force yourself to use different magic, because the game doesn't require different magic. You can just simply use the same spell over and over again. And I believe you'll be able to run through this entire game using certain spells, because they seem completely unbalanced. And then in terms of the combat, when it comes to enemies, a lot of the enemies kind of just wait for you to attack them, so there's no sense of engagement. But then the final point, and this one's the most irritating when it comes to the combat, I have heard that you do not unlock melee stuff until about 5 chapters into the game, which is at least a few hours of gameplay, so you are locked to ranged magic abilities for quite some time. That's going to be incredibly frustrating, seeing as the pace of the movement in the game is rather quick, and melee would be helpful in a lot of situations. So you're running around this open world and you come close to an enemy, you can't just melee within the first 5 chapters, it has to be ranged magic combat. And the open world in the game seems vibrant and fun at the start of it, but then the majority of videos I've watched, people say that it gets boring and repetitive, stupidly fast. However, one good thing that I found is that there is a lot of accessibility for players wanting a chill time. For those of you that don't want the game to be too difficult, this game, if you choose to set it up that way, will hold your hand. They'll basically play the game for you. There are lots of difficulty settings, including stamina recovery speed that you can change, and enemy knockdown time. There's even automatic support spell switching and auto-evasion. So you don't have to have this game difficult at all. And then another thing that's a little bit confusing is you can upgrade your armor, your necklace, and your nails, but you can't upgrade the magical band that's on your wrist. So there's gear and stuff in the game. It's an open world RPG. There's a full leveling system. The demo for players on PlayStation started you off at level 17 so that you get, there's no introduction to the combat. You just get straight into it. But they give you a decent amount of spells and stuff to use, so you can try your hand at the combat and see how you like it. But it makes no sense how you can upgrade your armor, your necklace, and your nails, but you can't do the band that's giving you all of these magic powers. And then at the end of the demo, they randomly put you against the second mini-boss, and I've seen from this one that if you hug the mini-boss's tail, even when it does a tail spin or tail swipe or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't deal any damage to the player. So there's essentially a mini boss cheese in the game already, and it's not even fully released. And that leads me on to point out that Square Enix haven't had a great time publishing games, with a lot of discussions in Forspoken being negative. Marvel's Avengers and Outriders had a really bad time. And with Forspoken costing £65 for the base edition, and having negative press already, it doesn't look good for the game whatsoever. The game's been developed by Luminous Productions and it's been published by Square Enix, or it's being published by Square Enix. And I'm not really sure at all if this game is worth buying. As I said, I will be buying it, I'll try it, I'll post other videos, I'll let you know what I think when I've got first-hand experience. I just wanted to share my opinions beforehand in case any of you were on the fence and this stuff could help you make your mind up. Another thing that really frustrates me is they are selling a deluxe edition of the game, so it's £65 for the base edition. There's a deluxe edition available for an extra £25, and all that comes with is a mini art book, a mini soundtrack, and you can download those digitally. Then it comes with a prequel story DLC with early access to that DLC. So straight out of the gate, if you buy the digital deluxe edition, you're paying for a DLC that you know nothing about. And I know a lot of games will, like Saints Row for an example, they will sell you an expansion pass straight away. But it frustrates me when it comes to any game that does that, because surely you're going to want to get into a game and understand it and see if you actually like it before you fork out extra money for DLC. In my opinion, if you are going to pick this game up, I would highly recommend just buying the base edition and then purchasing the DLC at a later date if you enjoy the game. There's no point paying an extra £25 for a promised DLC, which might take over a year to release or something, and early access to said DLC. You might as well just get the base edition of the game, see if you like it, because you could get all the way through it, love it, complete the game and not want to play a DLC. You might be satisfied with the base game story. So the deluxe edition is just wasting money, in my opinion. And overall, I honestly think this game does look like complete trash. It feels as though the game has no identity, it's trying to be a mix of different things and it's not settled down and figured it all out. And not only that, these points about the game, these things that I've picked up from watching other people, they were based on a demo, not a beta. So while some things will still possibly be subject to change before the launch of the game, I don't think they will change much about it because it's a demo. It's a demonstration of what they've got to offer. It's not a beta, it's not an alpha, it's not a playtest or anything like that. This was a demo of the product they are selling to people, and it's been mainly negative. However, that doesn't completely invalidate the positives. There's a lot of accessibility for players that don't want to play a game too tough. The magic and everything like that does look cool. The free running in the open world does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. However, with a boring, repetitive open world that feels quite empty as well to a lot of players, forced ranged combat until 5 chapters in, not being able to look straight up into the air when you're fighting flying enemies, there are a lot of things that kind of put me off this game, but I'm still going to give it a shot. I'm not going to completely disregard the entire game before I've had a chance to play it. I just simply wanted to get this video out to let you know about the things I've seen. And on that note, we are going to leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about Forspoken in the comments. And check out this video if you want to see other content on the channel. I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.